Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Today I will discuss interview questions and answers related to the internal promotion examination for banks. Welcome to part 12 of my Path to the Corner Office 2025 to 2026 series, where I simplify bank promotion examination interviews with practical questions and answers examples to help you climb the banking career ladder faster. Interview questions and answers from RBI Bulletin December 2025. What were the key highlights of the RBI Bulletin December 2025? The answer is strong economic activity, robust urban consumption post festive season, low inflation, GDP growth revised upward, and continued focus on macro fundamentals. How has GST rationalization impacted domestic demand? The answer is GST rationalization increased disposable incomes and consumption during festivals, supporting stronger domestic demand. What did the RBI bulletin say about inflation in November 2025? The answer is inflation rose slightly but remained well below the target, reflecting subdued pressures. Explain the concept of coordinated fiscal and monetary policy. The answer is when fiscal measures, government spending or tax policy, and monetary policy raise liquidity work synergistically to stabilize growth and inflation. Why is maintaining strong economic fundamentals important according to RBI? The answer is to sustain high growth trajectory amidst global uncertainties and volatility. What is RBI's approach to inflation targeting? The answer is flexible inflation targeting with a band around 4%, adjusting monetary policy to keep inflation within range. How does low inflation boost competitiveness? The answer is it improves export competitiveness by reducing business costs and boosting investor confidence. Define GDP and how RBI uses it in policy decisions. The answer is GDP measures overall economic output. RBI uses growth trends to calibrate monetary policy stance. How does sustained urban consumption indicate? What does sustained urban consumption indicate? The answer is consumer confidence and spending power are strong, signaling economic resilience. What is the role of high frequency indicators in RBI analysis? The answer is they provide real time signals of economic activity between quarterly data releases. What is the repo rate? The answer is rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks. What repo rate change did RBI make in December 2025? The answer is RBI cut the repo rate by 25 bps as part of accommodative policy. How does a rate cut affect lending by banks? The answer is it lowers borrowing costs, encouraging credit growth. What is inflation targeting? The answer is monetary framework to achieve and maintain price stability within a set target. Explain CRR and its impact on liquidity. The answer is cash reserve ratio is the portion of deposits banks keep with RBI, lowering it releases liquidity. What is OMO? The answer is open market operations are buy or sell of government securities to manage liquidity. Why might RBI buy bonds? The answer is to inject liquidity and support financial conditions. Explain neutral monetary policy stance. The answer is a stance where policy neither tightens nor eases further, focusing on maintenance. What is monetary transmission? The answer is the process by which changes in policy rates affect interest rates across the economy. How does RBI consider external economic shocks in policy? The answer is it balances growth and inflation risks while preserving financial stability. What is CPI inflation? The answer is Consumer Price Index measures changes in retail prices for a household basket of goods. How does inflation affect purchasing power? The answer is higher inflation erodes purchasing power, low inflation protects it. What led to low inflation in 2025? The answer is subdued food and core price pressures and coordinated policies. Explain the connection between demand and GDP. The answer is strong consumer demand boosts production and GDP growth. What is the significance of rural consumption? The answer is it broadens demand rivers and supports inclusive growth. How does GST rationalization support demand? The answer is lower tax burden increases disposable incomes and spending. Define fiscal policy. The answer is government's use of spending and taxation to influence the economy. How do exports affect GDP? The answer is net exports contribute positively to GDP when external demand is strong. What challenges does global uncertainty pose to growth? The answer is it can reduce trade, investment, and increase volatility in financial markets. What is a current account deficit? When a country's imports exceed export plus net income from a. What action did RBI take to stabilize the rupee in October 2025? The answer is net sold USD to arrest rupee's fall. Why does RBI intervene in the forex market? The answer is to reduce excessive volatility in the currency. What is USD or INR? The answer is the exchange rate between US dollar and Indian rupee. What happens when the rupee depreciates? The answer is imports become costlier, exports become relatively cheaper. Define forex reserves. The answer is foreign currency assets held by RBI to manage FX stability. What is a forward sale in forex operations? Selling foreign currency to future delivery to manage risk. How can forex intervention affect inflation? The answer is stabilizing the currency can moderate imported inflation. Why is volatility a concern for banks? High volatility increases risk in external trade and asset valuations. What are safe haven assets? The answer is investments like gold held during uncertainty. How does a weaker rupee impact RBI strategy? The answer is it may intervene to adjust policy to prevent inflationary pressures. What is the role of RBI in bank regulation? The answer is it supervises, regulates, and ensures stability of the financial system. What could lead RBI to impose curbs on a bank? The answer is liquidity stress or supervisionary concerns. What is Basel norms compliance? The answer is international risk management standards for banks. Explain risk based pricing of deposit insurance. The answer is premiums vary based on bank risk profiles. Define NPA. The answer is assets on which interest or principal payments are overdue for 90 days. What is CRAR? The answer is capital to risk weighted assets ratio ensures adequate capital. Why is credit discipline important? The answer is to minimize defaults and maintain asset quality. Explain liquidity risk in banks. The answer is risk of not meeting cash obligations. What is financial inclusion? The answer is providing access to financial services for all segments. What is stress testing? The answer is simulation to assess bank resilience under adverse conditions. Define a bank's balance sheet. The answer is statement of assets, liabilities, and equity. What is core banking solution (CBS)? The answer is networked system for branch independent banking. What is the difference between CBS and internet banking? CBS is back-end network system, internet banking is customer interface. What are priority sector loans? The answer is loans to agriculture, MSMEs, and weaker sections. Define CASA deposits. Current and savings account, cheaper funds for banks. What is a letter of credit? The answer is bank guarantee of payment to exporters. Explain amortization. The answer is gradual loan payments scheduled over time. What's balloon payment? The answer is large final loan payment. How do banks earn profit? The answer is interest margin, fee income, investment income. Define debt to income ratio. DTI. The answer is borrowers' monthly debt payments relative to income. What is KYC? Know your customer to prevent fraud. What is AML? Anti money laundering controls. What are internal controls? Systems to ensure accurate reporting and risk management. Why is credit risk monitoring important? To preempt defaults and preserve asset quality. Explain operational risk. The answer is risk from internal failures or external events. What is market risk? Risk from market price movements. Why is documentation important in lending? The answer is ensures legal enforceability and clarity. What define fraud risk in banks? Potential for intentional deception to harm the bank. What is stress testing? Evaluating resilience under hypothetical shocks. How do banks comply with RBI circulars? The answer is through internal policies aligned with RBI guidelines. What is the digital rupee? The answer is RBI's central bank currency initiative. How does digital payment impact financial inclusion? The answer is expands access to remote users. Why is cybersecurity crucial for banks? To protect data and maintain trust. What is UPI? Unified Payments Interface for instant digital payments. What is fintech regulation? Guidelines to ensure safe, innovative financial practices. How does blockchain benefit banking? The answer is enhances transparency and speeds settlement. What is RBI's stance on AI in banking? Encourages innovation with safeguards. Explain eKYC. Digital KYC verification using Aadhaar or tech. What is cloud computing in banking? Remote IT infrastructure enhancing scalability. What is the role of DFS in risk management? Supports secure data operations and compliance. Why are you suitable for a promotion? The answer is focus on experience, leadership, and results. How do you handle conflict? Through communication and collaboration. Describe a time you led change. Share specific example with impact. What motivates you in banking? Commitment to financial stability and service. How do you manage time under pressure? Prioritization and delegation. What is ethical banking? Integrity in decision making and customer trust. How do you mentor junior staff? Through guidance, feedback, and support. How would you ensure compliance culture? Through training and accountability. Describe a difficult decision you made. Use STAR method. What's your vision for your role? Align with organizational goals and customer service. What is RBI and its primary functions? The answer is India's central bank controls monetary policy, currency issue, banking supervision. What is the Monetary Policy Committee? The answer is the body that decides interest rates. What is CRR and SLR? Cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. What is deposit insurance? The answer is protects depositors up to a limit, risk based pricing now introduced. What is the Basel framework? International banking standards for capital adequacy. How does RBI supervise NBFCs? The answer is through regulations ensuring liquidity and risk management. What are banking ombudsman schemes? The answer is redressal mechanism for customer grievances. What's the statutory role of RBI in forex markets? The answer is manage reserves and support external stability. What is open market operation? The answer is buying or selling securities to manage liquidity. What is financial stability? System's ability to withstand shocks without turmoil. Explain how tax policy affects banking. The answer is tax policy affects banking by influencing disposable income, savings, investment decisions, and credit demand. Tax reductions increase consumption and loan demand, while higher taxes may reduce savings and slow credit growth. Tax incentives also encourage deposits, housing loans, and MSME financing, directly impacting banks' business volumes and profitability. Discuss the relationship between interest rates and credit growth. The answer is interest rates and credit growth are inversely related. Lower interest rates reduce borrowing costs, encouraging individuals and businesses to take loans, thereby boosting credit growth. Conversely, higher rates increase EMIs and borrowing costs, slowing loan demand and credit expansion. What is ethical use of customer data in banking? The answer is ethical use of customer data means collecting, storing, and using data strictly for legitimate banking purposes with customer consent, ensuring confidentiality, preventing misuse, and complying with data protection laws. Banks must avoid unauthorized sharing and ensure cybersecurity to maintain customer trust. How can bank profitability be improved? The answer is bank profitability can be improved by enhancing asset quality, increasing low cost CASA deposits, improving fee based income, controlling operation costs, effective risk management, better credit appraisal, and leveraging digital channels to increase efficiency outreach. What is the role of banks in sustainable development? The answer is banks support sustainable development by financing green projects, renewable energy, MSMEs, agriculture, and inclusive growth initiatives. Through responsible lending, ESG based financing, and financial inclusion, banks contribute to long term economic, social, and environmental stability. How does inflation affect savings? Inflation reduces the real value of savings by eroding purchasing power. When inflation is high, returns on savings may not keep pace with price increases, discouraging saving. Stable and low inflation protects real returns and encourages long term savings. What is liquidity coverage ratio? LCR. Liquidity coverage ratio is a regulatory requirement under Basel III that ensures banks maintain sufficient high quality liquid assets to meet net cash outflows for 30 days during a stress scenario, thereby strengthening short term liquidity resilience. How does foreign exchange volatility impact trade financing? Forex volatility increases uncertainty in export and import transactions, affecting pricing, repayment capacity, and margins. It raises hedging costs and credit risk for banks, making trade finance more complex and risk sensitive. What is a priority sector lending certificate? The answer is PSLC is a market mechanism that allows banks to buy or sell priority sector lending achievements without transferring actual loans. It helps banks meet RBI's priority sector targets efficiently while promoting credit flow to priority segments. Describe RBI's approach to digital currency regulation. The answer is RBI follows a cautious and phased approach towards digital currency through the Digital Rupee (CBDC), focusing on financial stability, cybersecurity, monetary control, and consumer protection, while encouraging innovation and efficiency in payment systems. Thank you very much for your patience. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel.